So you taking notes?
Always.
Always taking notes. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome down to Apter's Alley. Brand new configuration. My comb over here is, it's usually on this side. Bill Apter here at Apter's Alley, along with my new reporter co-host, Josh Chernoff. Used to be known as Josh Harris. Used to be known as Rocky Styles.
That was a long time ago. Josh Harris Chernoff even works.
Yeah.
Rocky Styles Harris Chernoff.
How many years you been in the wrestling business?
Since I'd say almost 20 years, about 19 years in the wrestling
20
business.
20 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, as you will notice, not note us.
No Dust. That's he was going to team with Goldust.
Yes, that's right. No Dust and Goldust.
He never showed up.
That's right.
Yeah.
He blew away.
You guys didn't know you were getting comedy from me today, did you?
What I want to bring up, though, of course, is unfortunately nothing comedic. The wrestling world lost one of its greatest characters, Big Van Vader. Everybody calls him Vader, of course, but I've always known him as Big Van Vader, and knew him. Do you know I knew him since the AWA days when he was just Leon White?
Wow.
Yeah. He was a great competitor, a jolly sort of guy, but very, very intimidating when he was in the ring. And what do you remember about Big Van Vader?
Well, of course, I remember his run in WCW. I remember his run in the WWE. But one of the things that I remember with my age, my generation, is Boy Meets World. His appearances on Boy Meets World.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, which were pretty great. He was incredibly entertaining. It's really a sad day.
Yeah, it really was. And, I spoke with him just a few weeks ago because I had done that interview with him on YouTube on wrestlingvideo.com, and he wanted to do it again. And I actually have the phone message that he could actually tell you what. Why don't we try this? Maybe later in the show, I'll play the phone message.
Okay.
So we have so much show today. Bruce Prichard, it's not a podcast. He has a hot cast. Yeah.
That's putting it mildly. Yeah.
Last week we had Conrad Thompson, the man who is as I mentioned, like the Vince McMahon of podcasting.
Trying to show off.
There you
go.
Yeah, we're going to talk about StarCast. We're going to talk about All In. We're going to talk about Money in the Bank. A lot of stuff, but I want to stay on the topic right now of Big Van Vader. Earlier today, I spoke with Harley Race, who's having his own health problems, but he was chipper and he sounded good. And I asked him about a memory of Big Van Vader. And you mind if I play it?
Not at all.
And I know that. And by the way, thanks everybody for joining in. And let's go right now to my interview with, we're going to be using this throughout the whole show, memories of Vader. And if you have any you'd like to chime in with, please do so. So here's Harley Race and what he told me today. I'm speaking here with Harley Race. Harley, just a few days ago, we lost best big man in the business, Leon White, Big Van Vader. You were his manager, and you knew him really well. Tell us about your relationship with him, Vader, the wrestler, and the person.
Well, Vader, the wrestler, was just the way he seemed to be in the ring. He was one tough son of a gun. In person with people that he knew and liked, and he was one very nice guy.
Yeah, very nice guy. And Harley Race managed Vader in WCW for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Did you hear my interview with Hulk Hogan?
I did, as a matter of fact, yes.
There's a lot of people out there who did not hear my interview with Hulk Hogan regarding Vader. So what I'd like to do is play that right now. Here is Hulk Hogan and his memories of Vader. Okay, hello everyone. This is Bill Apter on the phone today. Hulk Hogan, we just heard about the passing of Leon White, the man known as Vader or Big Van Vader. And I'd like to hear your comments on him as a person and an opponent in the ring, please.
Well, number one, it's a sad day in the wrestling world when someone as talented and as big of a star as Leon Vader passes away. You know, he was not only a star domestically, but internationally. He had an appeal that went around the world. So, you know, it was a great loss today, knowing that such a great human being and such a great wrestling star passed away. I had a chance to become friends with Leon probably the last 5 or 6 years when I was working on a regular basis. It was kind of funny how it happened because he was such a big star in Japan. Yeah, he was such a big star overseas that when I got the news I was going to wrestle him, I think it was a match. And all of a sudden I started Fumi Sato and all these different Japanese friends of mine started calling me, telling me that Vader was telling everybody in Japan that he had no respect for me and he was going to beat me up really bad when he saw me in Baltimore. So, of course, he was hyping the game up and, you know, really, you know, was going to work stuff because that was his style.
Yeah.
And we got in the ring and I was so used to getting beat up Japanese style, it wasn't that big a deal to me. I just thought we had a great match. We got a ton of respect for each other after that match because we did just really lay into each other. And we became very good friends. And he was nothing but respect, nothing but kind. Never had a bad word to say to anybody I was ever around. Had a great sense of humor. But he was just such a kind and nice man that I enjoyed working with him. And even though he was really snug in the ring and he would really lay it in and he'd really ring your bell, he never hurt you. You know, that was one thing. He made sure that you were tough enough to stick with him, but I would never go out in the ring and go, oh my God, he hurt me so bad I can't wrestle again. So he made it fun, you know, to have that type of heavy-handed, heavy artillery, you know, connection in there. But it made you really feel like you were in a war, so it made you feel proud when you would come out of the ring and working with him. And he was a consummate professional, so I mean, it was a huge loss, you know, that we suffered with his passing. And I just want everybody to know what a great person he was.
He was. A lot of people credit him as being perhaps the greatest big man in the ring because he had the agility of someone at a lighter weight. He could do moonsaults. He did so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was one of a kind. I mean, you know, when you talk about great big men in the ring, you know, you got to put Andre near the top, but Andre had a certain style. You know, when you talk about great big men in the ring, you got to put the big boss man near the top because he had a certain style.
Right.
But Vader could work with anybody. You know, he could technically wrestle. He could do the high bumps. He could do the high flips. He could do just crazy stuff you would expect out of a 200-pounder.
Yeah, Vader could do just about anything in the ring. First time I saw him with the Vader gimmick in person, I think it was in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and he came out with that whole steaming bull head, scared the tarnation out of me and all the other photographers there. It was it was pretty frightening. By the way, you see we have a new setup here. You can see both of us. You can see all of Apter's alley. I'm used to looking over here at the video camera. It's now over there. So don't feel bad if I'm not looking directly out at you. Right now, it is time to go to, and we're going to have a lot more talk about Vader and your comments too. But right now, it is time to go to the gorilla position.
That's a stretch first. But.
Yeah, the gorillaposition.com, one of my favorite websites. And one of the one of the two men responsible for it. One is Michael Melchior. Every week I screw up his name, and the other Brian Bowman. I said Ryman.
Now you got his name too.
I like Jerry Lewis. Ryman Bowman. Let's go to the gorilla position and see who this week's wrestler of the week is. All right. I wonder who he picked.
I'm Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com, telling the stories of pro wrestling storytellers, here with this edition of the Apter Video Podcast, Wrestler of the Week. After beginning his career as merely the muscle behind the Wyatt family, it's finally come full circle for the monster known as Braun Strowman.
About time.
When Strowman emerged as a singles competitor after being drafted to the Raw brand, he got an immediate reaction from the audience for his force, fury, and brute shows of strength. At the time, fans were fascinated by the potential of the powerful prospect. That culminated in his eventual elevation to the main event level and had him even competing in a fatal four-way for the Universal title at last year's SummerSlam. But after this week, it appears that 2018 may be the year of the monster after Strowman successfully came out of the Money in the Bank ladder match where he got his hands on the ever-valuable briefcase. Putting on a display of force like we've never seen, Strowman kept the momentum going so strong in Chicago that he even busted right through a ladder that his fellow competitors had set up as a roadblock. One thing's for sure, there will be nothing blocking his path to a world title shot anytime he pleases now. And with the run he's currently on, it's a good bet he'll cash in to become the next Universal Heavyweight Monster.
I think so.
For his amazing victory at Money in the Bank, securing the contract in the world title shot, and for all the mayhem that lies ahead, Braun Strowman is this edition's Wrestler of the Week.
Thank you, Ryan Bowman from the Gorilla Position. And you know what I would like to see? I would like to see Paul Heyman after Braun Strowman beats Brock Lesnar.
Ooh.
I would like to see Paul Heyman offer a contract to Braun Strowman because he's the only man who could say, my champion, Braun Strowman. Am I right?
I think you're right that he's the only one who could say it. I think you might be wrong, or he might have something to say about him beating Brock Lesnar. I don't know if Paul Heyman's going to feel like that's something that could happen.
You know, right now, Braun Strowman is wrestling several nights a week.
Yes.
Brock Lesnar is, what's he doing?
Well, whatever he's doing, he's staying in great shape.
Yeah, we know
I'm
that,
sure he's
but-
training.
but
He doesn't
he's
have
not
the
in the
wear and
ring.
tear on the weekly basis.
Yeah, but he's not in the ring. And after being out of the ring for a certain amount of time, you start to lose that sharpness. Right now, when you're in the ring like a Braun Strowman all the time, your senses are, you know how to react. But when you take a lot of time off, it's been a long time since we've seen Braun Strowman compete.
Brock Lesnar, I think you mean, but yeah, but it's been a long
Brock
time since
Lesnar.
we've
I
seen
did
Brock.
say Braun
yeah,
Strowman.
well, that's why
I'm
here.
getting my Braun and my Brock mixed up here.
Brock Lesnar, it has been a long time, but he is a world-class athlete.
Oh, well, there's no
And
doubt about that.
So I'm not really concerned about any rust from Braun Strowman. From Brock Lesnar. I'm doing it too.
now.
All right.
Excuse me.
It's time to, there we go.
Give yourself a face right.
Oh, I'm just going to
Go
over
Okay.
here.
But
No.
yeah, I just think that ring rust is going to lead to his defeat.
I think that's a good point. It's the
I keep
debate.
kayfabe, gang. Remember?
It's the debate between the wear and tear on a weekly basis of being in the ring, on a daily basis almost, and losing that callus that
Yes.
builds up
Yes.
from having that daily wear and tear. So that's really the debate here. What's going to happen?
Well, to
I
me,
don't
it's
know.
not a debate. I think that as soon as Braun Strowman gets into the ring with Brock Lesnar, it will be looking to get our phone number for our first guest here. I think it will be a classic battle. It's going to be one of the greatest brawls, not a wrestling match, a brawl
Fight
in history, a fight, a prize fight, an MMA. You have two of the toughest people in the world.
But who
facing
has
off-
more experience in an MMA or prize fight situation in the WWE than Brock
in the
Lesnar?
WWE.
In the WWE.
However, you don't really know the street fight attitude that I know of Braun Strowman. I've talked to the man.
I'm glad that I don't know. I don't think I'd be here if I knew that attitude. I
I
don't
once
be anywhere near
joked
that.
with him about something, and I'm friends with the guy, and he just looked at me real seriously, and he says, "You don't want to get me mad, Bill." And I said, "No, I don't want to get you mad." And another guy I don't want to get mad is Bruce Prichard. So
I agree.
we're calling him right now. And let's get him on the phone here on the Apter chat. Is that Bruce Prichard?
How are you, sir?
I'm good. You are live on the Apter chat. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on the After Chat.
We are
It's an honor to be on the After Chat.
We are so glad to have you here. Sitting next to me is my co-host, a gentleman named Josh Chernoff. And Josh has been actually, I always tell this story.
Josh Smirnoff? Is that
not Smir. We could change it to that.
That was what I was drinking before I came on, but no, it's Chernoff. It's Chernoff. Much like how Prichard don't put a T in there.
Yeah,
Put it on your back.
That's the first question I was going to ask you. Why does everyone put a T in your name?
I don't know. My name's not Prichard. It's Prichard.
Yeah, and yet everybody says Prichard with the T. And they also, your brother, who a lot of people do not realize, is Tom Prichard, is also without the T.
There you go. Well, now sometimes
Oh, say that again. We just lost your connection.
I just sometimes Tom will spell his with the T.
Yeah, and he's a doctor, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He was in medical school and had that little problem with pharmacy, and went ahead and graduated on out.
That's what it was. I thought he was a doctor of pro wrestling. Anyway, so we're so glad to have you, as I mentioned here, and what several topics I wanted to talk to you about. But Josh came up with a question. He said, "I don't know. He's probably the only guy who can answer this, and it's something totally off topic of what we were going to talk about. So why don't you ask him the question before we get into the meat of this conversation?"
Right, well, thank you, Bill, for that opportunity. Bruce, first of all, huge fan. It's an honor to be talking to you here today. My question goes back to WrestleMania 14. It is the most random question that you maybe got today. Shawn Michaels.
There's something really loud in my ear. It almost sounds like an ice machine going off. But unfortunately, I'm hearing every other word.
Okay. Are you hearing me better now?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's still there, but I can hear you. Okay.
I don't know what that is. Well, anyway, my question is from back in WrestleMania 14. When Shawn Michaels was coming to the ring, he had the winged eagle belt. It was the last night before that was retired. One of the side bars was broken off. And I always, since that day, anytime I've seen a clip from it, I've wondered, is there a story behind it? What happened to the bar on that belt?
It probably just got broke somewhere along the way. Somebody dropping it or choosing it somewhere in the match. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's on the nameplate, and there was a little raised bars that came out there. Yeah, and I think it's just either got dropped somewhere along the way and broke off, or there's no
real backstory to this. It's not something that the WWF was trying to cover up back then.
Yeah, no, everything's conspiracy. Yes, what really happened is Vince just wanted. Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, that would have made a great story in the old Apter mags. We would have had a great headline had we realized that.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah.
But all of the old Apter mags, because you own them all.
No, I didn't. Everybody
were the owner of all the magazines.
I never owned them. Stanley Weston was the owner of those magazines.
I heard he was just the front guy for you.
No, I wish that was true, but
that's what I heard from the Wrestling Observer.
That's certainly true.
That's your the Wrestling Observer has said several things about the Apter mags through the years, but I don't know if they actually said that. But no, I worked for Stanley Weston, and he was my mentor. I was the guy out in the field. I was the face of the magazines and the good times and the bad times, and still till today, people still think that I'm the editor of the magazine. It's still out there.
That's crazy. Is the magazine even still out there?
It is, and I've been gone from there 20 years now. And
holy cow.
Yeah, Stu Sachs is still the editor.
Holy, and you're still using the pictures that I took.
You know what? A lot of people don't realize that. Well, they own, once they bought the photos, they own the photos. But you used to shoot pictures in Houston, correct?
Correct, I did.
Yeah, yeah. You were one of the you were one of my contacts there when I used to come down to shoot the matches. Paul Bosch used to say, talk to Bruce Prichard and he'll get you all set up. And you always did. And I will never forget, and I've mentioned this to you whenever I see you in person, that I never forgot the phone call that I got from you, and I forgot what year it was, saying that you haven't told anybody yet, but as my friend, you wanted to let me know that you were leaving Paul Bosch and going to the WWF.
That's right. Because I knew that you were from New York, and you knew kind of the lay of the land there, and would tell me the truth.
Yeah. It was a phone call I've never ever forgotten. And but you had great days back in the Paul Bosch days back there. That was such a colorful territory.
Oh, I had a lot of fun cutting my teeth, and that's where I am in business.
Yes. So I want to discuss now several things. The WWE is now on the WWE Network, which is, of course, only $9.99 per month. They are now running your the podcast that you and Conrad do. How did that happen? How did that come to be?
Well, actually, we produce a video version of the podcast. We visit some of the topics that we've done on the podcast, but we approach it with the video in mind. And we approach it looking at it as how WWE can help enhance the story with the footage that they obviously have.
Yes.
We've gone back, we've done some new topics, and we've done some old topics, but it helps just illustrate our stories a little bit more, because so much of the footage that I didn't even know existed is of things of me producing talent, or vignettes, backstage area. You know, I would always do whatever I would ask the talent to do. I would do it for them on camera so they could see exactly how I wanted them to do it. And we would record those things so that we could see how the lighting was, how the audio was, and what have you. And I could look at it and then tell the cameraman, I like this, I don't like that. So a lot of that exists. So when I'm talking about things, they actually have an entire staff that goes back and searches all this archival footage.
Yeah.
To find those little gems that had never been seen before. And I was actually approached by WWE to do that version on the network, and they asked us if we would be interested in doing it. Of course, we were, and we took it from there. So it was, they extended the olive branch. We happily accepted it, and it's been a great relationship, and I've loved doing it, and it's nice to be home. I'm not home there full time, but it's nice to be, the feeling.
Oh, absolutely. It's the you can be away from the family for almost forever, and then you come back and it's like you never left.
Can I ask you?
And that part is very nice, and I've enjoyed that as well. And it's good to be home and good to be back working with those guys there.
Josh,
I have a question about that, because I've been seeing that you've been backstage for some of the shows. What's that like for you to be, first of all, how has it changed from when you were there, and what's it like to be back there having a live television show going on, but not to have any of that responsibility that you had for all those years?
Great question.
Strange, really strange. But the business and the production has grown so much since I left, and they have so many people, and it's, you walk in and it's like walking into a major Hollywood studio that travels every week. So you're people moving all over the place. One of the things that I noticed more than anything was it was a lot quieter.
Really? Oh, right. Yeah.
What I mean by that is we had some pretty colorful characters back in the day that Stone Cold Steve Austin, JBL, The Undertaker, and guys that were boisterous even backstage. And it was always colorful and it was always fun. And now the talent's a little more reserved, and it's a much more business-like atmosphere. Not that ours wasn't business-like, but there's so much to do. Every corner you walk around, there's another reality show being shot.
Wow.
and there's production out the yin yang, and everybody's working and moving, and it's a fine-tuned machine.
Yeah, I'm backstage periodically when they come to Philly, and I notice, like you said, back in the Attitude Era and all that, was like a crazy house there, but it's so well organized that sometimes while the show is going on, if you're standing in the area away from the gorilla position, just before the curtain, there's a quiet. There's a yeah. It's
that was the thing that really kind of freaked me out a little bit, because it's, wow, it's just so quiet.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah, I feel that. So now you're doing that, and your podcast, by the way, did you ever think that it was going to reach the I call it the hot cast? Did you ever think it was going to reach the point where this is the podcast that everyone is talking about?
I didn't, really and truly didn't, but it was something that Conrad Thompson, my co-host, really had pushed and told me. I mean, when he saw it, he goes, man, this will crush. This will really be big. We have to do this. And the audience for this is going to be huge. We didn't expect it to be the size and the enormity of what it is now. We really didn't expect that. But right off the bat, they told us, if you guys can ever get to 10,000 downloads, you'll be doing well. Our first show did 61,000.
Yeah.
And a few months later, we were hitting 350,000 and then a million, and we just kept going. So it really hit us fast and it hit us hard, and it was quite humbling, to be quite honest with you, because it was pretty damn cool. It's nice that people cared and remembered.
Well, I'm proud to be one of those subscribers, and I think you guys do an amazing job.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very entertaining.
And I've seen some of your live events there, and the fans who are just like even catching up with some of the fans don't even know who Brother Love was, but they are they're so enthralled by what you bring to the table. And I've known you since you were a kid, and I always knew your passion for the business, and on your podcast, that passion is right out there. You can feel that this guy just loves talking about this.
Well, I've had the distinct pleasure of my entire life never actually having to have a job.
Yeah. Or do, but you did a few.
I know, I did more than
yes.
a year. Like I've done nothing but jobs my entire career. But I was very
Bruce,
loved what I did.
Bruce, hang on a sec. We're kind of losing you. You sound like you're in a little muffled. Are you on a Bluetooth?
No, I'm on my phone. It's just I'm in Alabama right now, so I'm standing on top of a mountain.
No, you're good now. Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Everybody wave to Bruce on the top. Wave to Bruce on the.
There you go. That's me.
That's us.
Me. I'm the one in the orange shirt.
Us. So now one of the main things we wanted to talk about is I know you've heard that I'm all in, and I know you're all in, and I'm just this whole situation, this amazing situation that's come about with Cody Rhodes and the Youngbloods selling out a 10,000 seat building in 29 minutes. Brandy Rhodes always corrects me on that. I used to say 30 minutes. And this is being run. And in conjunction with that, Conrad has put together StarCast, which is going to be an amazing convention. And one thing about StarCast that I saw, and you and I are going to be together in some of this, is what are you doing running karaoke?
Well, I'm a damn good singer. I just, for those that don't know, and I made Jeff Jarrett famous again and got him into the WWE Hall of Fame just by resurrecting "Spend my days working hard on the go, put the hand on the clock, keep
Everybody.
Slow. I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight." So you can see right there, that is a
Now wait a minute. I have been once you get off here, of course, go to YouTube and put in the Bill Apter karaoke tour. There are dozens of videos, and I'm the only guy, and I'm going to do this while I'm there. I'm the only guy who can rap Barry Manilow songs.
Well, I look forward. You know what? I look forward to that. And you've actually done that for me live and in person.
Oh, that's right. At the WrestleMania Hall of Fame party. But Pat Patterson and I have several times gone out to karaoke places in the various parts of the United States. I do my own version of My Way, but I do about 150 different songs. So I can't wait to get up there with you being there.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because Jeff Jarrett and I are going to karaoke. Marty Scurll's going to karaoke the night before. They're actually going to roast me.
I know.
At this thing, which I'm a little leery about myself because, comrades can be a little kabuki at times.
I've got to warn you about something regarding roasts. I hosted 3 ring roasts for kayfabe commentaries in New Jersey. And by the time we got to the 3rd one, these were months apart, the fans sat there almost angry that they were roasting these people. They thought everyone was being insulted, which is what a roast is, but the audience wasn't taking it that way. So I hope this comes across better than the ring roasts did.
Well, I roasted Booker T in Houston one night, and when we got there, he came to me and he said, "Hey, instead of having you be one of the roasters," he goes, "will you host it? Because the guy that was supposed to host it wasn't able to make it." And I said, "Sure, I'll just get all my material in throughout the night." And I had some brutal material. And I had to constantly remind everybody, it's a roast.
Right.
What you do.
It's a roast.
So.
Well, for fans of something to wrestle, I think they're pretty used to with Conrad on a weekly basis throwing a couple of roasts in there for Bruce. So I think they're going to enjoy that.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure
he has
they
to
will.
put up with a lot.
So,
well, it'll also be my opportunity to have a comeback on all of it without being interrupted.
That's
yes,
awesome.
Exactly. But I'm very anxious to see you and the hundreds of legends and people who do podcasts there, and of course the thousands and thousands of fans who are going to be involved as well. Bruce, 2 things before we let you go here is, number one, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Bruce Prichard. The show is at Prichard Show. And online, man, for all of my stuff, the podcast, merchandise, everything, just go to brucepritchard.com and everything is right there. And then just a click away. And
there's no T in his name. 2 more things I want to talk to you about.
There is no T in my name.
I know it. I know.
But you can.
You can what?
I was setting Bruce up for that, but you can put one on your back.
You can. You can put a T on your back.
You definitely can.
Okay.
That's not a rib.
All right. We'll talk about that. So we're live here on June 21st, 2018. Yesterday, we all received the bad news about Leon Big Van Vader White passing away. Bruce, your feelings, your memories about him as a person and as a wrestler.
Well, first of all, deeply saddened by the news because it kind of hit me as a shock because the last thing I saw was pictures of Leon in the gym working out, and I know he had his heart issues and what have you, but Leon White was the kind of guy that kicked out, and he was the kind of guy that always made a comeback no matter what the situation. And I was looking for Leon to kick out, and it's just no matter what, you hear that kind of news. I was saddened, and it was a tough one to take. But I loved Leon. He was one of those guys that if you got to know him, it was hard not to love him. He was a great performer.
Oh, yeah.
And he redefined, the working big man. Mm-hmm. And he set the standard for so long as being that big working big man. And he could do it all. And he was just a big, giant teddy bear when it came down to it.
Yeah. And there's one other legend that I want to talk about that we lost a little while ago, too, who you and I didn't get to talk about when I saw you. and that was the shocking loss of Bruno Sammartino.
You know, it really was. That was another one just kind of out of the blue. And I didn't get to work with Bruno, but I got to the WWE in 1987.
I remember.
But Bruno was that old timer. I had met him a few times. He came to Houston, but being able to work with him during the time when I was at the WWE in 1987 was phenomenal. And Bruno, class act. He was that old timer that, man, he was stuck in his ways and he saw the business one way. And I was just so happy, ecstatic that Bruno finally, came home, because WWE is where he did make his name.
Yes.
And I think that's, he needed to be in that Hall of Fame for him and for the WWE. And I was happy to see that happen too.
All right. What would you like to say to your millions and millions of fans who are watching here?
Well, you know what? I want to just say thank you, and be sure and watch something else to wrestle with on the WWE Network every Wednesday. You can watch it on demand. And don't forget something to wrestle with every Friday at noon, where we dig deep in topics every single week and have a lot of fun doing that. I'm going to be in Rochester July 7th, Pittsburgh July 15th, New York City August 18th, and go to bruceprichard.com. All the information for all of our live appearances coming up.
Where are you going to be in New York?
At the Gramercy Theater.
Oh, what a great place. That's great.
It's our home away from home.
Hey, listen, I do an hour and a half one-man show. I want to open for you. Give me a call. No, I can't. I've seen
got it. I would love to. Hey, Bill.
Yes.
Listen, the invitation is open right now. I would love to have you on.
Well, I would love to. Let me see if I'm free that date. I'm going to come and visit.
Well, you can make yourself free that day.
Well, that's a possibility. I have to ask my wife.
Well, she loves me, and I love her.
I know that.
Just
Wait,
because I love you doesn't mean I like you.
I love you. All right, Bruce, thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
Bruce.
love you, and thanks so much for chatting with us.
Bill, thank you, guys.
And don't forget, StarCast, all in. You got to be there.
I'll be there.
Freddie Miller?
You be there.
Thank you, Bruce Prichard. We love you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, I told him, I promised him that we'd only spend like 10 or 15 minutes on the phone. And I didn't lie, but we went probably about 20, 25 minutes. So
It's like his podcast.
yes, yeah. Thank you so very much. But we need to move on. Again, this show is dedicated to the memory of Big Van Vader. Right now, let's go to TV. Travis Foltz, who's standing by with this week's Monday Night Raw rankings. Travis, come on in.
Howdy, fans. This
Travis.
is T. Volts coming at you for the legendary Bill Apter. And I'm going to bring you the Raw Top 10. But first, fans, if you want to check out the loneliest Facebook group on social
I
media,
feel
check
so
out the
bad.
Pro Wrestling Newsstand. Let's get into those rankings because things are really shaking up this week on
Strowman's
Monday
gotta be
Night
number one.
Raw. Coming in
Gotta
at
be
number
number
10 is a new Constable as he breaks just barely into the top 10, Baron Corbin. Number 9, and still making huge waves, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
Number
huge.
8, and a loser in the tag team main event, Finn Balor. Number 7, Bobby Roode stays in place with a victory.
Still glorious.
Number 6, with a singles victory over Chad Gable, Jinder Mahal.
Mhm.
Number 5, winner of yet another tag team match, Kevin Owens. Number 4, and having trouble with Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns.
Having trouble saying
Number 3, and losing the Intercontinental title in a real thriller, Seth Rollins.
That was a great match, though.
Number 2, slingshotting ahead of the pack with his Intercontinental title with Ziggler. Hey fans, what do you think about a faction that involves Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and the Revival? That's something I want to see. What do you think?
Ooh.
All right, our
Ooh.
number 1 slot belongs to the man who lost the Raw main event tag team match, but won the Money in the Bank, Braun Strowman.
Your guy.
Now, speaking of multi-person matches, have you noticed that between the female competitors and these tag team and multi-person matches lately, that there's hardly any singles competition in the WWE
Yeah, he's
or
right.
wrestling
That's
all
true.
over?
Yeah.
What is with that? Do you like it, or would you prefer more one-on-one competition? Let us know. Hey, on the top of the heap, of course, is the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar.
Who does wrestle?
Until then,
Trump
back
shit.
to the legendary Bill Apter.
Thank you. As Lou Albano used to say, a legend in my own mind. You know something that used to be something set down in the WWE when it was the WWF and the WWE, WWF, that if you don't defend the title within a given, I'm stripped of the title. What is going on, WWE?
I would have to
Brock
imagine.
Lesnar hasn't wrestled in a long time.
I would have to imagine that is in a very special contract that Brock Lesnar has with the WWE. Would
Yeah,
you
I know,
imagine?
but then again, you have to look at. Let's do this as we're talking wrestling. Not
Yeah.
let's look at it as the WWE has bylaws. Okay,
Of course.
it doesn't matter how long you sign a contract for. If you're the champion, you have to wrestle a certain amount of times to defend that championship.
Unless Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar got together with the WWE and their attorneys, and they worked out a contract that said if Brock Lesnar is going to be here, and when Brock Lesnar wins the Universal Championship
Yeah.
or WWE Championship, because it could be either or on either night,
Yeah.
that he does not have to adhere to the same
That's-
rules as everybody else.
It's not just all about the whole big picture of the WWE and this guy being a special attraction. It's about the rules.
Well,
They've gotten away from the rule book.
some say
I'm
rules are
very
made to be
passionate
broken.
about this. Here's some people like Paul Heyman.
And there you go.
Which gets back there. Let's talk about another thing. This week, the WWE announced that they had released Big Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you surprised?
I was. I didn't see that coming. You know, there'd been a little bit of rumors about, you know, some issues that were going on with him behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I don't know the truth to that. And if you read it on the internet, that certainly
It
doesn't
must be
mean that,
true.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, it was kind of shocking, and it's amazing when you look back just a couple of years ago, Enzo and Big Cass were the hottest thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Now that brings me to this. Big Cass is out. Okay. He's probably got a 90-day non-compete. Because my first thought was, can you imagine if the All In people decided to bring in Big Cass and Enzo?
And here's a question about that non-compete, because I remember things have changed so much now in 2018, the way that wrestling's streaming, but that non-compete used to be for televised shows, for nationally broadcasted televised shows. If I'm correct, I believe that's what it was.
No, right.
They could work indie dates.
Exactly.
They could do, you know.
However, All In, they released a tweet this week
That's my
that
point.
they're going to be televised.
That's what I'm
So
suggesting.
do they have Cass and Enzo there in the dark match? Really? Really?
I don't know.
You know,
I
these
don't
two
know.
guys, they've got to hook up again, because right now that's
I heard that there's
independent.
some real life heat between them. Maybe
There is, but if it's for business, it's an independent.
money talks.
It's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it is.
It really
There you
is. It really is. I want to go back to Money in the Bank. You and I talked about this before we went on the air.
Mhm.
A lot of people didn't like the show. They were a lot. You know what? There was one guy, and we talked about this,
Mhm.
that when I tweeted, I didn't see that swerve coming at the end of the Ronda Rousey Nia Jax match, where Alexa Bliss came with the Money in the Bank briefcase and beat the crap out of the two of them. I didn't see that coming. There's one fan on Twitter said that I must be crazy that he saw it coming. Did you see it coming?
So it's interesting. I didn't see that coming.
I don't think
I
anybody-
actually thought
Yes.
I'd been suspicious of Natalia all night and all in the weeks
Ooh.
leading up, because she kept saying Ronda Rousey's my best friend. Any chance she got, they
Yeah.
show Ronda Rousey throwing some punches, working out before
Yeah.
the match, and there's Natalya right there. So I'm the whole time I'm thinking maybe Natalya's going to win Money in the Bank. Maybe she'll cash in. Maybe Ronda Rousey will win, and then she'll see that as an opportunity to turn on her friend. Maybe she'll turn on her another way. But then when she didn't win Money in the Bank, I thought, well, hey, maybe she'll still attack Ronda Rousey. Didn't happen. So nowhere in my mind was I even thinking Alexa Bliss has the Money in the Bank. Hey, maybe she'll want to cash in.
Oh,
now.
That was great. When I watch,
she's amazing.
When I watch these shows, when I watch the pay-per-views, and even on Monday nights and Tuesday nights, SmackDown and Raw, the fan in me is watching it, not the reporter in me. Okay. So when that happened, when Alexa Bliss bashed them over the head and the body with that Money in the Bank, she raised her value so much doing that. And somewhere down the line, there's got to be a triple threat match.
There's going to be an issue between them for sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, you say you watch it as a fan, and after all of your years in the business, it's something that I think most wrestling fans nowadays could learn from that. And it even took me some time after I was in the business and then out of the business a little bit to get back to just enjoying it as a fan.
Right.
And when you enjoy it as a fan, it's so much better. And I think that maybe that guy who sent that to you, he's not enjoying it as a fan.
No,
he's enjoying it as an armchair quarterback.
Right, he's trying to be too critical.
Armchair booker.
I also want to say that the women's Money in the Bank match, for my money, fabulous match. No one, I'm going to say it again, no one ever expected that women's match, the Money in the Bank match, to be as hardcore and as good as it was.
I agree. I think it was arguably the best match of the night.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I think it was definitely better than the men's.
Oh, definitely.
Match. It was more enjoyable to watch.
The men's was left, for the end. I thought they were going to end the show with Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax. I really did. But now I understand
and they
that
could have.
And they could have. Now I understand that Ronda Rousey, with the suspension, the shows that she's booked at here in the United States, at least, she'll still be in the building.
Okay.
I'm wondering if there's any kind of clause for her attacking people, though. She's suspended.
She's going to get herself suspended for another 30 days on top of that. Maybe. Who's that going to help?
Can you believe what she did to Kurt Angle? I mean, that flip on him. And that,
that's judo. Doesn't matter how big you are.
Do you know what that reminded me of? That was back to the Attitude Era for the first time in years.
Yes,
that
a little bit. That's that spark that they needed. And Ronda Rousey brings that spark. She brings that legitimacy, that energy, that history in mixed martial arts, combat, wrestling, judo, whatever you want to call it.
Amazing. So moving on here, we're going to get to some more rankings, but there's a guy, we're going to go back to Vader for a moment. There's a guy named, who I wanted to see if he's around, and I want to call him. So hang on a minute. By the way, our apologies. Bruce Prichard was on a mountaintop in Alabama, so some of the interviews sounded a little muffled, so hopefully it came across clearly. There's a writer, an author, by the name of Kenny Casanova, also been a wrestler. He was in the process of finishing a book about Vader. They were working on this book together. Really? So I don't know what's going to happen to the book now, whether the book is going to be published. So I've got his number handy here. Why don't we call Kenny and see if we can find out what's going to happen with this book about Vader, because and it's not about making money. It's about...
Well, he had a story to tell.
Yeah.
That story should still get out there.
Yeah, definitely. See if he's home. Hey, is this Kenny Casanova?
Yeah, what's going on?
Kenny, it's Bill Apter. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I want to warn you that we are live on YouTube at the moment on the Apter chat. And I'm sitting here with Josh Chernoff, my co-host. And
how are you?
We were just talking about Vader. And while we were talking about Vader, I said that this guy, Kenny Casanova, who's done everything in the business, and you've written several books, and you were in the process of finishing a book with Leon, with Big Van Vader. And like Josh just told me, it is a story that has to be told. What happens with this book now that Vader is no longer with us?
Well,
actually, I talked to his son. I wished him my condolences and all, and his son said, "Hey, I'm going to call you next week." His father wanted him to read through the book, and then wanted the son to also give the thumbs up, and then greenlight it. And his son said, "I'm definitely doing that now. I'm going to finish it up, and I'll give you a call next week." So the book will definitely be out for the fans still.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people have been asking, and I don't put me in an odd place because I don't want to be plugging the book when the guy's, not in the grave even yet. I mean, he's kind of like a father figure to me too, because
really?
I talked to him for 2 years and, on and off constantly, like he would call me up with problems and, he had his whole 2 Year to Live documentary thing he was trying to get going. And
right.
Yeah. And I think he got some of that done too, I think. But because of health issues, he was in and out of the hospital a lot. And we kept changing the ending of the book. And that's why the book didn't ever really come out, because of his struggle. And he kept saying, maybe we need to add this to the book. And it changed a number of times, the ending. So, yeah, I mean, that's where it is.
Okay,
but,
all right. Well, you'll keep us posted on the progress of this. So it is, when was the last time you talked to him?
About 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We talked about actually collecting pre-orders for the book, and he was going to have Jesse, who did wrestle, by the way, a little bit in NXT and around the world a bit for some. So some wrestling fans might recognize him, but I was going to have Jesse, scan through the book real quick, make sure he liked it too, because it was basically his legacy that he's leaving behind for his family,
Right, sure.
That's why I wanted to put the book out.
All right, Kenny. So please keep us abreast of what's going on here. And this our show today is dedicated to the memory of.
Oh, very nice.
I always call him Big Van Vader. They can call him Vader,
Right.
They can call him Leon, but to me, he will always be that guy with that chrome bull head and the smoke coming out of it.
Yep.
And it's Big Van Vader. Yeah. Thank you, Kenny. And by the way,
Thank you, sir.
where can people find you on social media?
Oh, and they can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, / Kenny Casanova. You can check out KennyCasanova.com, or if you're interested in the book stuff, WOHW.com.
Okay, great. Kenny, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
I'm glad we caught him.
Yeah.
There. Yes. So it's interesting that Vader's story, and I mentioned that I have a phone message from him on my phone. So I don't know if we have time to get to that today.
Mm-hmm.
So but I guess it's hit me a day or two after I got the news that this guy that I talked to, you know what? We're live. We've got time.
Yeah.
We're still going to get to your questions. Let me see if I can. There's a lot of messages on here. He's like number 10 or 11.
Please enter your password.
Actually,
For those wondering, his
I'm
password
sorry.
is.
This number is not valid. I'm sorry.
oh,
This
come
number is
on.
not.
It's because I keep hitting the pound sign.
You have
Okay, I've got like 9 messages here. First one,
first voice message.
that's from my mother-in-law. We're not going to hear that.
Message
Listen to
skipped.
some of these.
Next message.
Listen.
Hey, Bill. Ivan and Renee calling off here. Just want
All right.
Message skipped. Next message.
Yeah, Bill Apter, you dirty dog.
Mr.
What?
Wrestling number 2.
Message skipped. Next message.
Oh, Apter, up morning, Gene Okerlund. Give me your call.
Nobody's
Message
ever heard.
skipped.
This is my
Next
message
message.
machine.
All right, Bill.
Mr. Wrestling number 2 again. We talk a lot.
Message skipped. Next message.
Hey, Bill, it's Eric Watts from
Eric Watts. Yeah.
Message skipped.
Might be the
Next
next one.
message.
Hey, Bill, this is Vader. Give me a call, 720.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, we can't do that. But that was the it was the last time I talked to him. We were going to do another interview. So right now it is. You looking out there?
Something's coming.
Yeah, it's the Gonzo Shark is out there somewhere. Gonzo Shark with the rankings.
Hey, what's up, humanoids? This is the Shark reporting for Bill Apter's Pro Wrestling Video Magazine podcast. And I'm back to bring you this week's WWE Men's SmackDown Live Top 10 rankings and the WWE Women's Top 10 rankings. We're coming off the heels of a very solid Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And just like my mama always taught me, I'm going to be a gentleman and put the women first. So let's get down to brass tacks and stack them up. Coming in at number 10 is Naomi. At number 9 is a woman who showed a lot more emotion this week, a different side of herself, a little bit of rage even, and I liked it. I thought it was good. Number 9 goes to Bayley. Number 8 goes to the woman who was my favorite for the
PO'd.
Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and I thought she had a great performance. Number 8 goes to Ember Moon. At number 7 is a woman who I was thoroughly impressed with in the ladder match at Money in the Bank. She laid it all out there. She showed that she's got heart, she's got soul in that ring. Number 7 goes to Sasha Banks. At number 6, the Queen, Charlotte.
Who did you
At
have
number
at 6?
5, dropping down
Okay.
4 rankings after losing her Raw Women's Championship, is Nia Jax. At number 4 is a woman who came up a little bit short in her bid for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Number 4 goes to the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. At number 3 is a woman who has thoroughly impressed me, has almost blown my mind, I would say. I never expected what we got out of her at Money in the Bank and what we got out of her at Raw. And she looks like she is going to be an unbelievably huge superstar if WWE books it the right way. So number 3 goes to Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
At number 2, the Princess of Staten Island, SmackDown Live
She's out
Women's
of control.
Champion, Carmella. And at number 1, once again, sitting high atop the pinnacle of the WWE Women's Division, is the new Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. And might I say, she had an incredible performance at that pay-per-view. Her cash-in was pretty epic, and all the props to her for that. It was great.
All right. So before we get to the men's division, it is time for our weekly Morgy Minute. Gary Morgenstein.
Some might say
One
it's
of-
time.
Well, go ahead.
It's time.
Go ahead.
That was a shout
Oh, yeah.
out to Vader. That's just
Yeah. It's going to be Vader time all the time.
Gary Morgenstein.
Gary Morgenstein, it's time for the Morgy Minute.
How are you guys?
Good.
how's it going?
Josh
You know
and
what
I
I'm
are
thinking
here.
about?
And now wait a
Hey,
sec.
guys.
Well, hold on. Josh and I are
Yep.
here, and we've been talking about Big Van Vader for most of
Yes.
this. But for you people who don't know, this is Gary Morgenstein. We work together at Pro Wrestling Illustrated's family of magazines, and every week that we're here, there's a Morgy Minute, things that he has done for the magazines, stories that he's written, a little memory each week. So what you got this week, Gary?
I'm thinking about Bob Backlund, who I think was either very overrated or very underrated. And I think he's kind of drifted out when you think about that era. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm sure you remember, but I wonder, people out there remember the showdowns at Shea?
Yes.
There were several of them. Yes. And I remember covering, it was in August 1980, Backlund teamed with Pedro Morales.
Yeah.
And won the WWF Tag Team Championship.
Yes.
And but then they were forced to give it up because you couldn't have there was a rule.
You
They-
couldn't
no
have
one could
two
hold
titles.
It's the rules.
Yes, and
That changed.
Backlund afterwards, Matt Brock was there and he was waiting for me to go out. But I said, Backlund really wanted to talk. And he poured out his heart and he said, no one appreciates me. No matter what I do, it gets looked at a different way. You know, Grand Wizard called him Howdy Doody. He was given, everyone thought he was just, the farm boy look. And he had a much darker side. You must remember, Bill, I think it was like late 1978. He was being interviewed by Vince Jr. And Peter, he and Backlund and Malvia had a successful tag team together.
Yeah.
And Malvia turned and attacked him and his manager, Arnold Scotland. And then Backlund flipped out.
on
Yeah, he
TV.
went crazy. He went crazy. Yeah.
Yes, and so I was thinking about, they have the persona, the wrestlers, and they seem a certain way in the ring and in public, but there's so much going on, so many deeper elements, and Bachman was a very complicated man.
Yeah, definitely. And eventually he went completely berserk.
Yeah.
And he tried to run for president, and he became Mr. Backlund, young man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah, it was very, very. He cannot dignify his memory because he was a 3-time champion, right?
Yes,
and
he was in the Olympic. I mean, he was a NCAA champion, and
Yes.
he was quite an athlete. Morgy, thank you so much. And before we let you go with this week's Morgy memory, tell us about your book and where people can get it.
A Bound Over Hell, Science Fiction and Baseball, 2098. We've lost World War III to Islam, and baseball begins its final season. Go to Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or just ask your local bookstore.
Yes, Gary Morgenstein, thank you for that Morgy minute.
Thank you.
There. And
Thank you, bye.
we'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you
everyone.
next week. Thanks. All right. We're actually running long for the first time in a long time. We usually try and get out of here by
Haven't
8
seen any
o'clock.
complaints.
Well, no, but people also want to watch Impact Wrestling. So let's get back to the Gonzo Shark, and then we'll go check out some questions from you viewers.
All right, let's move on. Let's kick it over to the men. Coming in at number 10 for SmackDown Live is a guy that I hope we see him on TV again soon. The Viper, Randy Orton. At number 9 is another guy he's a newcomer and he hasn't been on TV in like 2 weeks, which is a bit unfortunate. I hope he's back on TV next week. I hope they do something good with him. Number 9 goes to Andrade Cien Almas. At number 8,
great.
Samoa Joe. Number 7, 1/3 of the New Day, Big E. At number 6, dropping down a couple of pegs, even though he won his match at Money in the Bank, but he came up short in the gauntlet match on SmackDown Live. Daniel Bryan is at number 6. At number 5, WWE's number 1 mouthpiece, The Miz. At number 4 is a guy who I'm so happy to see that they did something good with him. They're finally giving him a bit of a push. I think he's a great talent, probably one of the best newer talents in WWE. And he claims the name to everybody's favorite day. Number 4 goes to Rusev Day, baby. And
He's
number
gonna be
3
champ.
is another guy who I'm becoming more and more over the moon impressed with every single week. His heel character is becoming more defined, better defined, and he had a great performance at Money in the Bank. Number 3, the artist, Shinsuke Nakamura. At number 2,
Speaks English now.
United States champion, Jeff Hardy. And at number 1, just as he is every week, because it is the house that AJ Styles built, SmackDown Live, WWE champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles. Hey, check it out, guys. My best friend and I, my lifelong best friend, we started a new show. And out of the dignity and respect for the class and just the epicness of Bill Apter's show, and out of respect for him, I'm not going to tell you the name of the show because it is a bit inappropriate maybe for this podcast.
We're
so
PG.
You'll have to go to Russo's Brand Family YouTube channel to check it out, but it's a brand new show. We're filming more than one show a week. We're starting up. We're trying to, chase our dreams, do the best that we can. So we're learning as we go, but it's an awesome show. Me and my buddy, check it out. Russo's Brand Family. You can find the name of the show there. I'm not going to tell you what it is out of respect for Mr. Apter.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter at GonzoShark1 or on Facebook.com/GonzoShark1.
Makes it more compelling.
Until next time, this is the Gonzo Shark checking out.
Oh, he's going back.
You can take it away, Bill.
All right, Gonzo Shark. Thank you very much. And how come Russo has never had a show just called the Bro Show?
Bro.
Hey, bro. I have had many. I've known Vince Russo since he was partnered with John Arizzi way back. They did a wrestling convention way back, and it's amazing how Russo's career has evolved in terms of the days that he was with before WWF, during WWF, after WWF, the outspokenness of this guy.
He's polarizing.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. Yes. Before we go, let's look at some of the comments from some of the fans. And again, this entire show has been dedicated to Leon White, better known as Vader.
I think he's upstaging.
We have a lot of people that were asking a lot of questions here, so let's see if we can get to some of them. And thanks, Bruce Prichard, again for being on here. We're all the way down the bottom. Let's go to the top.
All right.
The early fans here that came in. Vader's helmet that blew smoke. Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Bill, whatever happened to Scrappy McGowan, former referee for NWA and WCW? He's still living somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can dig him up.
nephew of Scooby-Doo.
I didn't know that. It's time. It's Vader time. Yes. Tim says, still remember Vader versus Hansen, where Vader had to put his eye back in place. Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Tough man he was. Rest in peace, Vader. Thank you, Vader. What about the incident with Cactus Jack, Mick Foley?
Yeah.
The whole ear incident.
That left a mark.
Yes.
For sure.
Literally.
Yeah.
Bill, what do you think of a match between Vader and Bruiser Brody? Richard Bain wants to know. They may have, I don't think they ever wrestled, not that I know of, but I think it would have been a hell of a match because you had two really big men in the ring with totally different styles. Because Brody could drop kick, but he couldn't do some like the moonsaults. He may have been able to, but I'd never seen that Vader could do. Two excellent. Go ahead.
There's one. Vader in his prime is greater than Braun Strowman. When I started reading that, I thought it was Vader in his prime versus Braun Strowman would be a great match. So ignoring the
Vader
comparison,
in his prime,
but I think Vader in his prime versus a Braun Strowman, that would have been a
that would have been a Madison Square Garden main event, a main event in any arena, anywhere in the world. Absolutely. Bill, did Harley Race ever wrestle Magnum TA? The answer is yes. And I photographed some of their matches. Let's see here. Oh, Steve Kane says farming. He's probably talking about Scrappy McGowan.
Yeah.
So Steve Kane, my
He's a
referee
dairy
buddy,
farmer.
would know. Yeah. Wow. He really milked that.
I see what you did there. Heyman turns on Brock with an emoji that's thinking. How about that?
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. But
Paul Heyman always goes with a winner.
However, would he turn against? I never say turn on because a lot of people say, "Hey, that guy turned him on." No, I always say turned against. It was like we did in the magazines. Somebody turned against someone.
And if he turns him on, I'm not going to judge.
But Paul Heyman turning against Brock Lesnar and spoiling Strowman's victory by making it a cheap victory, I wouldn't want to see that.
No, I don't think I'd want to see that.
I wouldn't want to see that. So it's Tom Prichard. Yes. No, we won't go there. But we're still a PG show. We will get Dr. Tom on this show, by the way. I missed the Heavenly Bodies in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Tom Prichard was half of the and Jimmy Del Rey.
Yep.
Yes.
The Gigolo.
Yes. We just got to that there. Richard Bain, my favorite Harley race opponent, Terry Funk. That's Terry Funk. Ric Flair, Dory Funk Jr., Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and the Hulkster, baby. You know, this was the first time when I talked to Hulk about Vader that I've talked to Hogan since that whole dark period of stuff he went through. But we always said, you know, we would stay in touch, and I felt it was the right time to call him because of this. And he sounds great. WWE's got to bring him back.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
You know,
I think it's just a matter of time.
He said, "I'm sorry," and if there was no internet, he would have been brought back a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely. Let's see. So remember, there's no T in Prichard. Bill, you and Bruce should do a duet of Frank Sinatra, "Strangers in the Night." I've never rapped that song. Yo, where's my rap hat? Oh, it's over there. It's on that chair. No, it's all right. It's all right. Let's see. Yo, strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What were the chances we'd be sharing love before the freaking night was through? Not bad. We might do that.
No.
Sports Center, na 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 na. Oh, Mandy is my favorite song. That's sung to Mandy Leon. Everybody knows whenever I see Mandy Leon, I hit up to Barry Manilow. Oh, Mandy, well, you came and she's going to be at StarCast. I might have
Really?
to bring her up on stage and do that song for her. My friend said he wanted to see Stan Hansen versus Blackjack Mulligan. That would have been great too. Let's see on topic here. TN Couponer, Vader was the complete package. That's true. He had power, endurance, and quickness for a big man. I think Brock Lesnar has a contract to defend his title every 240 days. That explains it all. All right, we're just about out of time right now. I want you people to go over and if you're watching this live and check out Impact Wrestling. Vader, this show was for you, and through all the years I knew you, you were a really good friend. Anytime I needed photos or interviews, you were always there, and I just want to let you know that we will miss you. All right, this show has been brought to you by Is Wrestling Fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
Right, and for you fans who are following us, Josh, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Twitter at So Says Chernoff, because that's
S-O.
SAYSSHERNOFF.
To me, he's now known as Josh the Chernoff Man.
Josh the Chernoff. Better that than Josh the Chernoff something else.
Yeah,
That's
true.
Much worse.
And for you people who follow me and at Apter Wrestling and here on One Wrestling Video and OneWrestling.com and fans of Big Ray Hernandez and everybody else here on One Wrestling, I want to let you know my next few appearances. If you go to Kayfabe Events and you're in Europe, Kayfabe Events has me coming in November for several days. They can tell you where and when. And I want to thank all my UK fans for sending these, my favorite candy, Roundtree Fruit Gums. They keep coming to my mailbox. Thank you very much. I will also be at StarCast. Yes, I will be all over StarCast. I will be saying hello to people. I will have books for sale. I just want to shake your hand and say thank you. And if you'd like to get a book, I will have books with me. And on October 20th, my birthday weekend, I will be at Awesome Wrestling Entertainment in Waynesboro, Virginia. And I will be hosting the night before the show on the 19th. That's the day before the 20th, right?
It's 18th or
you
19th.
bet at math
I'm not
too,
entirely
right?
sure.
Yeah. But I will be hosting a very special press conference that AWE has said to me that this is important and it needs to get out there. So for Bill Apter and Josh the Chernoff Man, we'll see you
at the matches.
Yeah, and it's StarCast and All In. I don't want it to end.